Welcome back to another lesson. In this lesson, I'd like to talk about running up and down a given chord. So a few lessons ago, I finished up a lesson by playing a piece and landing on the root chord, which was a C. And after landing on the chord, I sort of embellished it by adding this. In the end. And I'd like to really focus on what I was doing there. So I'll use this as an example to give you the basic idea of what it means to run up and down a chord. In this case, particular case, just down. So I'm going to reproduce what I do and I'm going to walk you through the different steps. So the chord we're talking about here is a C major, but you can do this with any chord. So a C major is made out of the notes of C, E, and G. And it has two inversions. The first inversion is, this is the root form, C, E, and G. The first inversion is E, G, and C. Second inversion is G, C, and E. And then you're back in the root form. So you can think of it as a series of ascending versions of C major. Etc. So root, first, second, root, first inversion, second inversion, root, first inversion, second inversion, and so on. Now, after landing on the final C in the song, what I did is I started up from the second inversion of C, but you can do this with any of the inversions, and I sort of played over it. Now, the idea here was to start with a C sus4 chord and resolve it to the C major chord. So the C sus4 is G, C, and F, and this is the C major, G, C, and E. And really what I was doing is playing this, F, E, C, and G. So by going from F to C, I was really resolving the sus4 to the major triad. Now, I didn't just play the notes themselves, but I sort of gave it a rolling introduction. So I started by rolling in the C sus4, the G, C, and F, and then playing the resolved chord, which is the C major, which is an E, C, and G. Now after this, what I did is I sort of transitioned to the next inversion down the line. So this is the first inversion of C. And I didn't play all of it, I basically just played this. Now this is, again, you can think of this as a C sus4 resolving to the C major. See, you should think of this as, I'm sort of just playing the C sus4, which is an F, G, and C, but I'm omitting the G. So really what I'm playing is F and C, I hit them together, and then I resolve the sus4, the F, to the E in the C chord. Let's play this all together. And again slowly. Notice how I pivot over the thumb. So once my thumb hits the G, my second finger pivots over it, and then the second finger and the fifth finger hit F and C simultaneously. The next step is the root form of C. So I'm going down the inversions. I started from this, then I played something that's based off this inversion, and now I'm going to play something based off this inversion. And again, there's more than one way of embellishing this particular inversion or breaking it down or arpeggiating it. Here what I'm going to do is I'm going to play basically a C sus2 and resolve it to the C major. Alright, so I'm hitting D and G together, and then I'm switching my D to an E, and then to a C. And the way to think about this is basically resolving from a C sus2, which is a C, D, and G, to a C triad, which is a C, E, and G. Let's play this all together. So you notice that there's a pattern here. First of all, I'm going down the inversions, and I'm sort of resolving in each time a sus chord to the major triad. C sus4 to C, C sus4 to C, C sus2 to C. And actually, now that I've hit the root form, the next form is again the second inversion, and I can just play the same trick over again. So let me just concatenate this twice for you so you can hear how it sounds like. So the second time around, I was really playing almost exactly the same thing. Maybe I omitted a note here or there, but I was just, again, doing the same sort of arpeggiation. So really the entire meat of this progression, or this trick, resides in the first three inversions. That's it for now. I hope you've learned something interesting, and I'll see you next time.